Okay. Good morning. My name is Victoria, and I'm going to interview for the snake specialist job. So at the beginning, tell me something about yourself.
Well, okay. My name is Nikki Garsta. I'm 29 years old. I am originally Danish, but I grew up in Prague. I have a college degree from Harvard, and then I have a master's degree from Juilliard in reptile species. I don't know. I've always wanted to work with this, mainly because my dad worked with it, and so I grew up around snakes. I've had a lot to do with, especially snakes, other reptiles as well. I had my first snake when I was 6 years old, my own.
Really? And which snake was it?
It was a king cobra.
Wow.
Yeah.
And your father worked as well, like a snake specialist?
He did, yes.
That's incredible. So it's like in your genes.
Yeah.
That's great. So basically that's the reason why you chose this job, because your father inspired you and you just grew up with this idea.
Yeah, my dad recently passed away, and I've always talked to him about having a job like him. So when I saw it, I was like, well, I have to do that.
That's actually really great. So where did you hear about our company?
Well, I was talking to a friend of mine who works in the area, and she said that there was a new cafe opening up, and I'm like, oh, well, we should go try it, see what it is. She's like, oh, it's like a snake thing. I'm like, oh, really? And she's like, yeah, they're having this job, snake specialist. I'm like, oh, if she knew if the job was already taken. She's like, no, she didn't know, but I could try looking at your guys' website. And so I went in, and so I applied.
That's really great. So, and what was your previous job?
I worked as a veterinarian.
And why did you leave it?
I don't do well with the whole, like, I like working with animals and I like working in reptiles and stuff, but I don't like, as a veterinarian you see a lot of sick animals and a lot of, you have to put down a lot of animals, and I don't like killing them.
Oh, that's good. How many years did you work with the reptiles already?
Well, almost since I was born. So I worked with it a lot, but I had my first job my second year of college, so I would have been 19. So when I officially started working with them.
So you worked as a veterinarian then? Or?
Yeah, I worked as a veterinarian assistant as a part-time job other than studying, and then I upped the food chain. So then I became the veterinarian of the clinic, but then I left it after.
And this profession is not very easy. In fact, it may be dangerous. So why did you choose it?
I don't know. I think I grew up around snakes. So of course, I still find them dangerous, but I don't really see the danger in them anymore. I see them more as a lovely pet.
Really?
Yeah. As a 6-year-old, when you see a snake, I was scared out of my mind because I read all these stories how people were killed by snakes and one thing or the other. But once you get to know them, and I'm not saying on a personal level, but when you know a snake, you know how they react, and when you have the right training for it, it's not really that dangerous.
And did you ever face any dangerous situations in your life because of snakes?
Of course, like every snake keeper has. Mine was a round trip around the world between my bachelor's degree and my master's degree. And I was traveling mainly in Asia, and so I did a lot of, examining and different things, and I came across a little village, and the kids came out like screaming, and I couldn't understand what they were saying because it was Chinese, but the person I had with me, a friend of mine who is Chinese, he translated for me and said they were screaming, there's a snake. So I went into the village to see what it was, and it was a cobra. And it was loose around the village, and it almost bit one of the mothers.
Really?
But didn't get that far. We called the control in the area, and I helped catch it. So
that's good practice, and
it is. Of course, it's scary at the time because there were a lot of people that it could have.
Yeah, that's true. Imagine the situation of a 6-year-old girl accidentally breaks the cage with the snake in it, and the viper, the snake, bites her. What will you do? What will be the action?
It all depends on where she's bitten. But a 6-year-old doesn't have that much blood in her body, so the venom will travel around really fast. So you have to act really, really fast on it. If it's a leg or an arm, you would have to tie it off so that the circulation doesn't come into the rest of the body and mainly the heart. And then you would either suck out the venom without swallowing, depending on how big the bite is, or you would rinse it out, and then, but you would of course call 911 for the 112 it is in this country.
Okay. And if you would describe yourself with one word, what would it be?
Oh, that's a hard one. I don't know. I'd probably have to go with courageous.
Courageous?
Yeah. I like taking risks and living on the edge. Probably why I like doing this job.
So you want to risk your life here, basically?
I'm not saying I'd risk my life. I'd say if that's mainly why I don't work in the field. But as the job I'm applying for, you work with, it is not wild animals. Of course, it's still a snake. It's not as dangerous, so I wouldn't say I'd risk my life for it, but yeah.
And are there any questions that you would like to ask me?
Mainly, how many snakes do you guys have?
Altogether in the business, there are 120 snakes. But because we have the second part museum and we have 2 parts museum and cafe, in the cafe there's going to be only 70 snakes.
Okay.
So, and those snakes we are trying to, no, pardon, I'm sorry, I apologize, that's my mistake. No, there are going to be 40 snakes, I'm sorry. Mainly we have 40 snakes in our cafe business, and mainly they are non-poisoning. We have 30 snakes, normal snakes, which are like non-poisoning, which you can find in this region, like in the Czech Republic or Slovakia. And there are a few snakes poisoning, like cobra, for example, the Indian cobra or black kamba from Africa, which are, there are 10 of them.
Okay.
Is there something? So I guess that's all.
Yeah.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
That was all for today.